You're going to start at the Wallowa Lake trailhead, and you're going to take trail 1804, and you're going to go up the east fork of the Wallowa. And you're going to come up here to the Rogers Lake or Aneroid Lake area. This is a smaller lake right here. And if this is about, the Aneroid Lake is about a mile further, and it's a larger lake with more campsites, and it's absolutely beautiful. This is all uphill, this first 7 miles, and this would be 7.5 to 8 miles to Aneroid. And we were just flat out tired by the time we got there. So we set up camp at Roger Lake and did an evening stroll over to Aneroid. Also at 5 miles, there's a very beautiful camp spot right next to a creek. If at 5 miles, depending on the time you get there, you could also camp there as well. But then that would make your day 2 very long. So I would recommend getting to Rogers or Aneroid Lake. And then what you're going to do is you are going to, let's see here. Then you're going to continue on 1804, and you're going to go over Tenderfoot Pass and a Polaris Pass. And like I said, it actually is a very gentle grade. It's the downhill portion of Polaris Pass that is a little bit sketchy due to the shale, but it's definitely doable. Just make sure you have trekking poles with you. And this is 3.8 miles downhill. Again, it's a gentle grade, so the downhill isn't too bad. Absolutely beautiful. You asked about water. This is this 12.5 miles to Fraser Lake. There really isn't any water from the time you leave the valley right before Tenderfoot. I didn't carry more than 1.5 liters. When you get to the bottom of this pass, there is a creek there, so you can refill before heading 2.5 miles to Fraser Lake, which is uphill, so you can always resupply with your water down here. But I carried 1.5 liters, and my friend carried 2 liters during this time. For the rest of the time, I pretty much only carried 1 liter. Anyway, then you're going to come down to the bottom, and you are going to continue on to Fraser Lake. And Fraser Lake has some nice camping spots. You could also do what we did. There's a little lake right there behind Fraser Lake that's called No Name Lake. And there's one camping spot off into the trees. And it's not right on the lake though. But we went skinny dipping here and camped over here. It was a nice private area. You do have to basically cross, you go around Fraser Lake and you cross the creek. You'll do a creek crossing, you'll cross another creek, and then you can be back there on that lake and in that camp spot. It's only one camp spot though, so just a heads up on that. Then what you're going to do is you're going to go up Glacier Lake Pass. So the next day you'll head up Glacier Lake Pass, and here's Glacier Lake. So absolutely beautiful spot. It's only 2.5 miles from Fraser Lake though. So we had a hard time deciding, do we want to just spend the day here at Glacier Lake and explore around? But we decided to not stay the night there because the weather was coming in and it was going to be less protected than if we went down into the Lakes Basin area. So we went ahead and just spent the day and lunch up there and explored. Right behind Glacier Lake right here is another little glacier lake that's beautiful that you'll have to check out. You could also camp back there if these sites were full, if you decided to camp at Glacier Lake. All right, then from there, we went, so then we went up Glacier Pass and so then you go all downhill, and then we went to, we stayed at Mirror Lake. Moccasin and Mirror Lake can be super, super busy. So depending on when you're gonna go, if it's the middle of the week, it's probably better. I prefer Moccasin Lake for swimming and things like that, but it's super, super busy most of the time, and Mirror Lake can be super busy as well. So just to keep that in mind. If you're gonna follow our same path and go to Blue Lake, which is absolutely beautiful, then I would recommend that you probably get up to Mirror Lake to camp so that you're closer to Blue Lake. All right, so then if you want to go, this is going to be the out and back piece of the trail. So if you decide you want to go and do Blue Lake, which is absolutely beautiful, then what you'll do is the next day you will go over Ivan Carper Pass, and you'll go up and over here. You'll pass Minam Lake, and then you'll head up to Blue Lake. The camp spot that we stayed is right here at the tip, and it's absolutely beautiful if you can get to that spot and nobody's there. It has a beautiful place to camp, and it actually has a natural spring right behind it as well. So I would recommend getting to that spot at the tip of the lake if you can. So then basically what we did, and you could always camp at Minam Lake as well, but this lake is way more beautiful and it's more alpine, and it's just so worth it. Then basically we did the out and back and came back over the pass, and then we came around this way because we had already seen Moccasin Lake here. So we went ahead and went this way, which is absolutely beautiful, and I would highly recommend it. And what I would recommend is that you stay at Douglas Lake. For some reason, this lake gets overlooked. I think it's because it's sandwiched in between Moccasin and Mirror and Horseshoe. And Douglas Lake is absolutely beautiful. If you're going to stay at Douglas Lake, you would come around here and you would come up into this area and camp. There's also right here a peninsula type area that would have some beautiful camping as well. Actually, maybe I saw a sign that you can't camp there anymore. That's where we went skinny dipping that day too. But basically right along here is some really nice camp spots. But this lake gets overlooked. It's less busy, and I would recommend staying there or Lee Lake. Even though Lee Lake only has 2 spots, it is absolutely beautiful, and it has like a really cool rock ledge that you can jump off into the water, even though it's super deep. I think it was like 80 or 90 feet deep lake, but it's really beautiful. Horseshoe Lake can be super busy. I've stayed there twice, and both times it's busy. And the reason we ended up getting to Horseshoe Lake is because then we wanted to head out home. Let's see here. We wanted to head home. I'm getting myself confused. Oh yeah, here we go. Wanted to head out and then come down the West Fork back to the trailhead. And that's 9 miles, but it's a super easy 9 miles. And so I would recommend staying, you know, I would easily be able to go 10 or 11 miles to the trailhead. It's that easy of a trail. It took us like 3.5 hours to get out. And so I would stay, like I said, at Lee Lake or Douglas Lake. So yeah, that's the only piece that you if you do decide to go to Blue Lake right over here, that's the only area where it's out and back. And this pass here to me was, it's definitely not hard. It's about a mile, let me see, it was 2 miles going up and 1.5 going up this way, but it's the downhill on this that was a little bit more challenging for me just because of all the granite, and the grade was a little steeper, but I mean, it's not too bad. Let's see here. The other thing that we were going to do, and we just didn't do it, and it's fortunate for us that we didn't, but we were gonna make this one of our days and go to Ice Lake. If you were going to go to Ice Lake, it's 4.6 miles uphill. This lake is supposed to be beautiful, but I guess it can be super, super busy because it's so close to Wallowa Lake. if you were going to do that, I would make sure it was during the middle of the week that you did that. But if you do that, then I would camp up here at Douglas or Lee and then make your way to either 6 Mile Meadow to camp, so that you don't have such a long hike up into Ice Lake. Anyway, I thought I had a map for my husband, but I forgot I didn't because we were supposed to go to Sawtooth and we had to make a change of plans all of a sudden. Let me know if you have any more questions, but water is good everywhere with the exception of that one 12.5 mile day where you're going over Tenderfoot and Polaris Pass. So just make sure that day you have 1.5 to 2 liters at least, and then, well, I wouldn't do more than 2 liters personally, but, and then when you get down at the bottom of the Polaris Pass, there's a creek here before you make your descent up or ascent up into Fraser Lake area.